Hello everybody and welcome back to the Beatles Forever. Today we're going to talk about the 3 times when what the Beatles said kind of blew up on them. Being in public, it's hard sometimes to say something without it being taken the wrong way. And here's some instances where the Beatles put their foot in their mouths and regretted it. The first instance is kind of an innocent one, and it's related to candy. George Harrison got the whole thing started in a TV interview in 1963 when he stated jelly babies were his favorite treat and that John had stolen them from him. What are jelly babies? Jelly babies, according to the Wikipedia, are a type of soft sugar jelly sweets in the shape of plump babies sold in a variety of colors. They were first manufactured in Lancashire, England in the 19th century. Their popularity waned before being revived by Bassett's of Sheffield and Yorkshire, who were responsible for mass-producing jelly babies from 1918. The Beatles at first started to receive boxes of the jelly babies from fans, but then things got worse when the fans started throwing jelly babies at the Beatles, which I'm sure must have been unpleasant. The Beatles didn't like it from the start. In an article on the todayifout.com website, George wrote a rare letter to a 15-year-old girl fan named Lynn Smith. George bluntly stated that he and his bandmates' thoughts and opinions on the subject. "We don't like jelly babies, nor fruit gums for that matter, so think how we feel standing on stage trying to dodge the stuff before you throw some more at us. Besides, it's dangerous. I was hit in the eye once with a boiled sweet, and it's not funny." When the Beatles went to the U.S., they thought they were safe, but it was worse scenario there. The fans started throwing American jelly beans, which were hard, and the jelly babies were soft. It was like being hit by bullets. The first time it happened was in Washington, D.C., February the 11th, 1964. George spoke to a reporter about it. I guess he felt he had to, since what he said in the TV interview started the ball rolling. He said, "That night we were absolutely pelted by the effing things. They don't have soft jelly beans there, they have hard jelly beans. To make matters worse, we were on a circular stage, so they hit us from all sides. Imagine waves of rock hit hard little bullets raining down on you from the sky. If jelly beans traveling at 50 miles an hour through the air hit you in the eye, you're finished. You're blind, aren't you? We never like people throwing stuff like that. We don't mind them throwing streamers, but jelly beans are a bit dangerous, you see. Every now and again, one would hit a string on my guitar and plonk off a bad note as I was trying to play. Ringo could hide behind his drum kit, but John, Paul, and George were open targets. Somehow, everyone got the same ideas, and the jelly bean throwing continued during their tour. In August of '64, at the Cow Palace in San Francisco, the concert had to be stopped twice because of the hail of jelly beans. A number of jelly bean tossing fans were thrown out of a September 6th concert at the Olympia Stadium in Detroit. After the concert, Paul said of the jelly beans, "It has become a bit of a trademark with our shows, but we prefer they throw nothing at all." In time, the attack slowed down and eventually stopped. I suppose it may have been because the Beatles decided not to mention the candy anymore in interviews, or it could have been the pleas from the band not to do it that finally ended the madness. Next on our list is Ringo and Liverpool. Ringo Starr appeared on the Jonathan Ross Show in 2008. It followed his performance of the Liverpool 8 opening of Liverpool's European Capital of Culture year, and he sang a song with the words, "Liverpool, I left you, but I never let you down." Asked by the presenter what he missed most about the city, Starr laughed, and Ross asked him if there was anything he missed, to which the drummer replied, no, though he went on to say he loved the city as it was where he grew up and where his family were. His comments were greeted with anger by some people in Merseyside. 3 months after the comments, a topiary bush in his likeness was beheaded while the other Beatle members remained intact. Ringo said, "I apologize to those people who were offended, as long as they live in Liverpool, not outside," Starr told a BBC interview. "No real scoozer took offense. I only believe it's the people on the outside that did." As in most cases, he has some people who can see what he said, why he would say that, and then others who took offense. The old saying, "You can't please everybody," comes to mind. The last on the topic for today is John and religion, and I think this is the one that most people remember as the most controversial. According to the Rolling Stone online, Cleve's article, she's the one that interviewed John Lennon. How does a Beatle live? John Lennon lives like this. Arrived on March the 4th, 1966. If the Jesus comment was regarded at all in the 2,000-word profile, it was mostly met with bemusement. In England, nobody took any notice. Lennon reflected in 1974, "They know this guy's blabbing off. Who is he?" For many, it's just a flippant remark made by a 25-year-old pop star. And he said, "Christianity will go," he had said, "and it will vanish and shrink." And I don't argue about that. I know I'm right, and I will be proved right. We're more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity. Jesus was all right, but his disciples were thick and ordinary. It's them twisting. It's that ruins it for me. He stated that if he had said TV instead of the Beatles being more popular, he might have gotten away with it. The article was released in England and in the U.S. without anyone saying anything about it. It was when the magazine Datebook came out with an article, and it had the quote that John Lennon had said people got in an uproar, and that was mainly protested in the Bible Belt states. Brian Epstein released a statement with John's approval stating, "The quote which John Lennon made to a London columnist more than 3 months ago had been quoted and misrepresented entirely out of context. It began, what he said and meant was that he was astonished that in the last 50 years the Church of England, and therefore Christ, had suffered a decline in interest. He did not mean to boast about the Beatles' fame. He meant to point out that the Beatles' effect appeared to be to him a more immediate one, a one certain of the younger generation. The Beatles were fearful of their lives, and being on stage, you can imagine how vulnerable you feel, knowing someone is mad enough to want to kill you over something you said. John finally realized that he had to speak about the matter himself. Rather than read from a prepared statement, he gamely faced a volley of hostile questions head-on, clamoring to clarify his thoughts. And stated on the Rolling Stone online once again, "I'm not anti-God or anti-Christ or anti-religion. I was not knocking it. I was not saying we're better or greater or comparing us to Jesus Christ as a person or God as a thing or whatever it is. I happened to be talking to a friend, and I used the word Beatles as a remote thing. Beatles like other people see us. I said that they're having more influence on kids and things than anything else, including Jesus. I said it that way, which was the wrong way." A reporter piped up, "Some teenagers have repeated your statements. I like the Beatles more than Jesus Christ. What do you think about that?" And then, sensing a minefield, Lennon paused to consider his words carefully. "Well, originally I was pointing out that fact in reference to England, that we meant more kids than Jesus did, or religion at the time. That we meant more to kids than Jesus did, or religion at that time. I wasn't knocking it or putting it down. I just said, and it was wrong, or it was taken wrong, and now it's all this." "But you're prepared to apologize?" came another voice. Clearly exhausted from stress and jet lag, Lennon just wanted it to end. "I wasn't saying what they're saying. I was saying, I'm sorry I said it, really. I never meant it to be a lousy anti-religious thing. I apologize if that will make you happy. I still don't know quite what I've done. I tried to tell you what I did do, but if you want me to apologize, if that will make you happy, then okay, I'm sorry." The Beatles tried to keep their sense of humor when the plane landed in Memphis, where their concert was to take place. George said, "Let John go first. He's the one they want." You can hardly blame him for wanting to say that. When there wasn't much of a crowd protesting at their concert, the Beatles were feeling more at ease. But when George played the third song of the concert, there was a loud blast that could be heard over the singing, the music, and the crowd. And every one of us looked at each other, Lennon remembered, because each of us thought that the other had been shot. It was that bad. Barrow, watching in the wings with the rest of the Beatles' entourage, echoed the sentiment. Every one of us and the other three Beatles looked at John, half expecting to see the guy sinking down. But it was not a gunshot. Instead, it was a cherry bomb lobbed from the balcony by mischievous kids. Though it reportedly caused minor injuries to 4 fans, the Fab themselves were unscathed, physically at least. They continued the song in double time, understandably anxious to get it all over with. The fun was over. This was the final straw. They did one more concert after that, and then decided the touring days were over. I can't say I blame them. That cherry bomb would have given me a heart attack if I'd have been up there playing. There you have it, 3 times when what the Beatles said caused a big blow-up. And I'm surprised it didn't happen more often given their popularity. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, could you please subscribe and give a thumbs up? It would be greatly appreciated. I enjoy finding out more about the Beatles, and I hope you do too. I wish everyone a great day. Bye for now.